Hi, I'm concert violinist Hannah Woolmer and this is my intermediate bow hold tutorial. So this is for grade 1 and above. If you're about grade 7, 8 standard, I would go on to my advanced and that video is below. You can hear my music on iTunes, you can visit my concerts on www.stageit.com, and if you'd like to see some of my playing and some of my technique in action, you can watch the videos below. So this is for people who should have already watched my beginner's bow hold or have been taught a beginner's bow hold by their teacher, and it's just putting some sparkling touches onto that. So we started off with the bunny rabbit hold and spoke about why all those fingers are there, gradually branching out to there. So at this point you should know where your fingers go, but what we don't want to see is any stiffness. Lots of people play with stiffness in their fingers, stiffness in their thumbs, that sort of pushy thumb thing. This is bad because it actually counteracts what the bow naturally does itself. So a bow naturally, even if it's away from me here, will stay on the correct contact point. Even if I hold the bow here at the end, you can see the bow has its natural line. Yes, it may be moving backwards and forwards, but the contact point on the string is exactly the same place, and that is a pure sound. By creating any tension with your thumb or fingers, you're actually destroying that contact point, that natural friction between the bow and the string, and you're actually not producing the best sound that your bow or your instrument could. So you may want to definitely look at this video if you constantly trying to upgrade your instrument, upgrade your bow, and you just can't produce that sound. So looking at the bow hold, this is where our fingers go, but it's how we use them at this stage. So what we want to do is we want flexibility in all our joints. So these joints here, nice and flexible when they're holding the bow. Flexible there, flexible there. Each finger has a purpose, and each finger is instrumental to your instrument. So again, this sort of movement, we want to see this. We always want to see the fingers engaged and holding the bow, not pushing down, but holding. And so on here, those two fingers and the thumb there, holding and engaged in holding that instrument. They are the things that actually hold the instrument. Now these two just keep it in place. So this one locks there, this one sits on top. We should be able to go from down to up, down to up, and that is from spacing in between the joint there. So from grade 1 onwards you should be able to work these muscles, and this should be part of your practice regime every day because it's a physical instrument. Okay, so when we put that on here now, what we're going to be talking about with this bow hold, once you have all your fingers in place and once these fingers are working, is how to work them. So if we're sitting in neutral, we are always sitting with these two fingers in the middle, holding the bow, ready to go, and the rest are just flopping down. We're in neutral. If we start a bow stroke, if we're about to play and we're at the heel, all the weight, these are holding, and the weight is in that finger there. And that gets rid of that click at the beginning. This click, which is there if I take that finger off. That sound, if you engage the little finger, so you're literally just dragging the bow, you're not controlling it. If you're finding it slipping down the bow, it will probably mean that your thumb is pushing it down the bow, because naturally, even if I hold my bow like my violin like this, my bow doesn't slip. The next thing you need to talk about is the weight. So you need to have a heavy arm, but we'll go into that more in the advanced video. Heavy arm, and it just it rolls into the fingers at this point, into that little finger. Okay, so we're going to start the bow and the weight is in my little finger. As I get to the middle of the bow, my weight is in the middle fingers. My wrist is going to drop, you can't quite see it there, and the weight is into that index finger with a dropped wrist. The dropped wrist is actually pushing into that index finger. So I'm going to do this away from my violin now. If we sit there, it's a nice floppy arm here. and it is sitting into that little finger. As we go down, the wrist is going to take the weight of the arm into the index finger, and this creates a pure tone from little finger to index finger. And I'll show you on the violin. So the weight is there. Now this stage, I would say practice that before you get started every day, just working on the pureness and creating more. Now you've gone past grade 1, you want to start seeing what you can get out of your instrument. So it's not enough to simply play tunes and get it all, play the most difficult piece you can, to start seeing what you can actually achieve from the sound of your instrument. And that alone comes from the bow. So how much weight can you put into your instrument, and how much control can you get out of these fingers? Okay, by this stage you should also know that your bow is tilted, the wood is tilted away and in the fingers. Okay, occasionally you're not going to do that. Occasionally you might want to swivel the bow around to use the fat, the whole hair, and that'll be for things like double stopping and stuff like that. So really building on that basic bow hold, the real principal difference is that you're really now engaging the wrist, more and more pressure from the wrist, and that in turn goes into the corresponding finger. Wrist up, and the weight of the wrist goes into the little finger, wrist down, and the weight goes into the index. Up, I would actually do it more, but I'm going to go out of shot. Down, up, down, up, down. Okay? Thank you for watching this tutorial. If you would like to go on to the next step, make sure you follow my advanced video, and if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe.